The male reproductive system consists of the testicles, ducts to transport the sperm to the urethra, accessory glands, and the penis. These testicles are even organs located in the scrotal bags that keep them out of the abdominal cavity. These are covered by a fibrous layer called tunica albuginea, and inside each testicle are the seminiferous tubules where sperm develop, which begins at puberty. The function of the conduits of the male reproductive system is to protect and drive sperm from the testicle to the urethra. They start from the inside of the testes and continue with the epididymis, the vas deferens, and the ejaculatory duct successively. The epididymis is a long and folded duct where substances necessary for the maturation of sperm are produced. The semen is made up of the sperm and the secretions of the accessory glands, which are the seminal vesicles, the prostate, and the urethral or Cowper's gland. The prostate is an organ located around the prostatic urethra, and its secretion protects the sperm and keeps them viable. The bulbourethral glands produce a viscous alkaline fluid that lubricates the urethra while neutralizing the pH, thus preventing the sperm from being damaged during ejaculation. The penis is the copulatory organ. It has the urethra, which is the route for ejaculation and emission of urine. Along the penis is the corpus cavernosum, which is a structure formed by erectile tissue that fills with blood during sexual arousal to maintain the erection of the penis. The most common sexually transmitted infections are chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, genital herpes, genital warts, molluscum contagiosum, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, which also called AIDS, and hepatitis type B.
The female reproductive system. The female reproductive system is composed of internal genital organs, the ovaries, uterine tubes, the uterus, and the vagina. External genitalia comprises the vulva. In addition to the internal and external organs, the mammary glands are also included. The ovaries are responsible to produce female gametes. Ovaries are located in the pelvic cavity, one on each side of the uterus. The uterine tubes are pairs of tubular organs. One is attached to the uterus and the other is the funnel-shaped. The uterus, its functions are the implementation of fertilized ovum, allowing the pregnancy and the childbirth. The vagina, its functions are to act as an outlet for the menstrual flow. And the vulva includes the external genitalia, pubic scrotum, labia majora, labia minora, clitoris, and vestibule. And the mammary glands are even organs located in the interior part of the thorax.
Good afternoon, my name is Rango Guevara and I'm going to talk about the menstrual cycle. The menstrual cycle is a process in which hormones regulate the maturation of oocytes. It's also the ovulation and the preparation of the uterus for the implantation. These hormones are secreted cyclically. This means that it's a cycle, like its name says. First, it has an average 28 days. It lasts during the whole month, more or less. Also, first, the menstrual phase is the day one that corresponds to the beginning of menstruation, originate when the fertilization is absent, and consequently, the levels of estrogen and progesterone diminish. The functional layer of the endometrium is detached, and bleeding occurs. This stage lasts from 1 to 5 days. Pre-ovulation phase. This phase goes from the end of menstruation to ovulation. Also, in each ovary are follicles at different stages of maturation. In this phase of the menstrual cycle, only some of one are like ovulation is complete to maturation. Also, while this is coursing the ovary, the uterus prepares for implantation. For this goal, the functional layer of the endometrium system develops again. So the estrogens are responsible of this action to a greater extent for the events corresponding to this phase. It's ovulation, that is the peak of estrogen production that is triggered by the pituitary gland. The production of luteinizing hormone, that is LH hormone, which promotes the rupture of major ovarian follicle and releases the oocyte. This action happens in the middle of menstrual cycle. And then is a post-ovulatory phase, when the ovarian follicle from which the oocyte was released presents a small hemorrhage, and subsequently the cells that comprise are organized, giving origin to the corpus luteum and beginning to produce progesterone and estrogen. These hormones determine that the cell of the endometrium produces glycogen, and which is a source of energy necessary for the survival of fertilized ovule before implantation.
Prevention measures with physical methods. The very method's function is to prevent sperm from entering the vagina or the uterus. They include the condom, the vaginal sac, and the diaphragm. The condom is a latex covering that is placed over the penis. The vaginal sac is a polyurethane cylinder that has two rings at its ends, which one covers the cervix and the other covers the external genitalia. The diaphragm is a cup-shaped gum that adapts to the cervix. The safety of this method is variable and depends in a large extent on their correct use and care. The most effective is the condom, followed by the vaginal sac. Watering devices are objects that are introduced into the uterus and are made of various materials such as plastic and metal. Most commonly used are copper and stainless steel. It is a very safe method which can be used up to 10 years and a doctor must place it. And surgical sterilization in men, called vasectomy, consists in ligating and cutting the vas deferens of each testicle. In women, this sterilization consists in the ligature and section of both oviducts. Once this process is completed, the person will be unable to reproduce, so this method is the safest.
I will explain about the chemical methods. There are the hormonal methods. These use hormones to modify development of ovarian follicles and inhibit the ovulation. A doctor must prescribe them, and although they are 100% effective if they are used correctly. However, a woman could have life-threatening risk factors if she consumes them. There are pills that contain synthetic estrogens and substances with similar functions to progesterone. One pill should be taken daily at the same time to ensure its effectiveness. And then there are the emergency pills or the next day pills. These contain highest levels of estrogen and progesterone that inhibits the production of these hormones by the ovaries. In consequence, the use of these pills reduces the probability of pregnancy up to 75%. This method should not be taken routinely, and the doctor is the one that will give you the appropriate guidance. Also, there are the capsules with progestin that are implanted under the skin and make a slow and continuous release of hormones. They last 4 to 5 years and are known as hormonal implants. The skin patches stick on the skin once a week for 3 weeks, skipping the 4th so that the menstruation occurs in the period. It is essential not to forget to change the patch and do it on the same day of the week and at the same time. Another method we have is the vagina ring, which releases estrogen and progesterone. It is placed at the bottom of the vagina for 3 weeks, and in the 4th week it is removed to let the menstruation happen. To the end, when we have the spermicides, these are drugs that kill sperm. that are applied directly or with sponge that are inserted in the bottom of the vagina, as its effectiveness depends on the correct use. It is recommended to combine it with other barrier methods.
So for the partial abstinence, there are two methods, which one is the rhythm method and the other one is basal temperature method. The rhythm method requires always to have a regular menstrual cycles, since the sexual relationship should be avoided 3 days before ovulation, the day of ovulation, and 3 days after. Although it is considered that this occurs in the middle of the menstrual cycle, not all women are like this. Although their periods always have the same duration, for this reason, it's a complicated method to follow and effectiveness is frequent. And for the basal temperature method, during the ovulation, the body temperature increases and the quantity of the consistency of the cervical mucus change become more abundant, clear, and elastic. When these conditions are met, sexual relations should be avoided for 3 days. It is a sustainable contraceptive method because if you have sex before ovulation, pregnancy is very likely.